Good morning, everybody. It's story time. Come on, grab your friends. We'll go to imagination's end. Through song and laugh, there's lots of learning, and the fun never ends. It's story time. Thank you guys for coming to story time this morning. My name is Mrs. Allie from the Naples Library, and I'm here in the children's room to deliver your story time of the week. This week, we're celebrating a very special birthday. A very important children's author celebrates his birthday this week. And his name is Dr. Seuss. You may know him from the stories like The Cat in the Hat, or Wacky Wednesday, or The Lorax, or The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Today we're going to be doing a short play, a feltboard play of one of his, in my opinion, best stories that he's written. And that story is The Lorax. Are you familiar with the story about the Lorax? Maybe you've seen the new movie that's come out called The Lorax. But if you haven't, I'm here to show you everything you need to know about the story that Dr. Seuss wrote, The Lorax. So without further ado, I'm going to turn our screen and let us all the way down to the very bottom. Flip us over. Hopefully that works for you guys. Oh, sorry, I guess we can't turn it while recording. So we'll make us a little bit shorter. There, we'll try that. All right. We have a blank whiteboard here. So we're going to start from the very beginning of the story. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind blows slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look hard enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood as long as it could before someone lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? I'm going to draw a little bit of scenery while we're talking. See if I can do it. Why was it lifted and taken somewhere, far from the end of town, where the grickle grass grows? Well, ask the Old Once-Ler. He still lives there. He knows. I'm going to complete these trees here. Ask the Old Once-Ler. He lives there. He knows. You won't see the Old Once-Ler. Don't knock on his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He stays in his lurkum cold under the floor, where he makes his own clothes out of mufford moof. And special dark midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks, and he tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he will let down a pail. You have to toss in 15 cents in a nail and a shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail and he makes most careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his grubulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-ma-phone, for the secrets I'm telling you are for your eyes alone. Swoop. Down comes the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the Old Once-Ler's whispers are not very clear since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he has smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, a long, long way back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the Swomie swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the trufula trees, the bright colored tufts on the trufula trees. Wow, this is a trufula tree. That's what they saw. He saw at first was a trufula tree. The bright colored tufts of the trufula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits. And they played in the shade and ate trufula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, oh, those trees, those trufula trees. All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart, and in no time at all I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a trufula tree in one chop. He chopped down the trufula tree. And with great skillful skill and great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. This is a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazelle. I looked and I saw something pop out of the stump. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of trufula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for harm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that everyone needs. It's a shirt. See? It's a sock. See? It's a glove. It's even a hat.
It's even a hat, see? but it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, or bicycle seats. The Lorax said, "Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed." But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along. "Well, what is this thing that you've knitted? It's so beautiful. I simply must have this thing." And he thought that thneed that I knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. Oh, this is wonderful, wonderful. I can't wait to tell my wife. I laughed at the Lorax. "You poor, stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy."
"I repeat," cried the Lorax, "I speak for the trees."
"I'm busy," I told him. "Shut up, if you please." I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone and put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, "Listen here. There's a wonderful chance for the Old Once-Ler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken. Sharp right at South Stitch." And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the Old Once-Ler family was working full tilt. They were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of Trufula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented the super axe hacker. Whoa, the super axe hacker, who could chop down 4 Trufula trees in one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating Trufula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough Trufula fruit to go around." Let's take the axe hacker off there. "And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys," he cried, as he sent the barbaloots away. Aww. I, the Once-Ler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I truly did not. I meant no harm. I had to grow bigger. So bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes. Then that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. and he whiffed. He sneezed. Achoo! He snuffled. He snargled. He sniffed. Once-Ler! He cried out with a crupulous croak. Once-Ler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swummy swans, why, they can't sing a note. Oh no. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They might have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here. Once more, snapped the Lorax. His dander was up. Let me say a few words about gluffity-glup. Your machinery chugs on, day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup. Also schluppity-schlup. And what do you do with his leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty little Once-Ler, you. You're glupping up the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, 'cause their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary. Ugh. In search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap and say bad, bad, bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering. Turning more truffula trees into thneeds. And at that, which everyone needs. And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a smackering smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall. The very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So in time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved goodbye. They jumped into my cars and they all drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars that day. Now all that was left beneath the bad-smelling sky was my big, empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, through a hole in the smog, without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks and one word. Unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. But that was long, long ago. But each day since that day,
I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Once-Ler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the Once-Ler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds. And truffula trees are what everyone needs. So plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water. And feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then one day, maybe one day, the Lorax and his friends may come back. All right, everybody. That is the end of the tale of the lifted Lorax. Come here, guys. I know it's kind of crazy and a little bit sad, too. Do you know what the moral of the story is? That sometimes people do things that they don't really mean to do. And those things that they do destroy forests, destroy lakes, and destroy the air. And they affect all of the animals that live there. If you cut down all the trees, the animals who need those trees can't live there. If you smoke up the air, the animals who need the air can't live there. And if you smog and smuck up the water, the animals who live in the water can't live there either. We're not the only ones who live here. So sometimes we can't put money ahead of what the needs are for others. And it's up to you now. It's up to you and it's up to me to help try to save this place from people and axes that hack. Then, one day, all of our friends who have moved out of the forests and the lakes and the air might come back, and we might have a world that is worth living in. So love your planet, everybody. We only have one, and it's up to us to protect it. You and me, we can do this. There's hope. There is hope, I promise. So, happy birthday, Dr. Seuss. We still hear you down here. We hear all that you're saying. We can see the beautiful world that has been created for us. And we really do love and cherish it. I challenge you to do one thing today to help the world around you. Go outside and smell that beautiful fresh air. Smell those trees that are waking up. Maybe drink some maple syrup water. It's super, super delicious. Just appreciate the world that's around you right now. And give thanks that it's all still there. It's up to us to keep it beautiful. Thank you so much for coming to Dr. Seuss Day. Thank you so much for coming to Storytime. I really appreciate it, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Happy weekend. And enjoy those trees while we still got them. All right? Bye-bye, everybody.